Podcast Network Asia.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
I said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Veda Zay.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I'm Lewis Howley. I'm Sam Scotia. We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star, the NXT UK champion, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Emile ASH coming to you again live from the new Podcast Network Asia studios. Thank you to everybody who joined the YouTube chat agad kasi the party had to start at 7 p.m. pa rin. And we apologize that we had to start a little bit late because, again, it's the first time that we're actually recording from the PNA studios. So we had to figure everything out.
PNA studios, it has to be said.
Pasalamatan muna natin si babyface producer Mike in the control room for figuring everything out over the last 10 minutes. All right?
Congrats, Mike.
Shout out as well to our bosses here over at PNA for making it happen, making the move happen right in time for the holidays. Kaya yun, we're actually one of the first few podcasts who's able to record and live stream from the new PNA studio. So really excited to be here. Ang dami natin pag-uusapan. First, hi to everybody.
Hello to everyone. We are now here in the brand new PNA studios, as Stan mentioned. And not only did our bosses make this happen for us, but they are also in the process of making other things happen in the pipeline. So because the world has restarted and PNA has restarted, we have these new digs. A lot of other things are in store for all of you and for all of us. Yeah, Emile, what's up?
Hey,
finally got to meet you.
Yes, it's so good to be here at the new PNA studios and also to finally meet Ro and Stan in person. Again, mga idol ko to. I've been listening to these guys since I was in high school, and now I got to meet them in person. So, glad to be here.
Yeah, sabi ni Ro, we're planning some events, we're planning some stuff here at the new PNA studio. So abang-abang lang as we get everything in order. Julian is loving the new Hurt Business shirt that Emile's wearing. So that's actually part of the Wrestling Podcast Pasabay program. So is the I'm Your Papi shirt that I'm wearing. And you can be part of our Pasabays going forward if you become a Wrestling Podcast patron.
Yeah, maraming ganap. So a lot of things happened. These shirts came in. We also had our Royal Rumble PLE watch party. So we didn't watch a single stream on Disney on Discord because we all have. I'm assuming we all have Disney Plus subscriptions.
Oh, afford natin yan.
And we were able to watch it on our own screens at our own time at our own pace. So what we offered was a live party environment, atmosphere, if you will. So we were able to trade banter, talk shit about everything that was happening, talk shit about the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, which was a total fail, and a whole bunch of stuff. So we had a lot of fun was had, and you can be a part of that as well. And get our pasabays too. If you sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/wrestling podcast, only for $5 or around 275 pesos. You get access to our Discord community where we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. You'll get access to our exclusive review content where I review Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Rampage, pay-per-views from WWE and AEW, and Rowan reviews local live events. And also our pasabays, as you see here. As you might have seen in our social media, a whole bunch of our patrons and friends have gotten their authentic, legit, 100% WWE merch. It took a while, but it did arrive. So you can be a part of that too. I think we're planning one quite relatively soon.
Yep.
I think that's in the works. So we'll let you know, and then we'll open. We'll probably let them know ahead so that they can sign up and take advantage of that sweet deal and yung mass padala dito sa Pilipinas. So again, WWE Shop AEW, Pro Wrestling Tees, a whole bunch of other places that you can buy from online when you subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
All right, ang dami natin pag-uusapan this week. So let's come in hot with our first bit of news from outside the ring. And that is Kota Ibushi officially becoming a free agent. So in-announce to ng New Japan Pro Wrestling on their website. As of January 31, nag-expire na yung contract ni Kota Ibushi from NJPW. So he joins Tetsuya Naito on the free agent list. And right now, he's been booked for GCW or Game Changer Wrestling that's happening in March. And meron ding rumors ngayon that Kota Ibushi might actually be competing for Rizin, which is an MMA promotion, in an exhibition match with former Senator Manny Pacquiao. So, okay, let's break all of this down one by one. Let's start first with Kota Ibushi actually being a free agent. He hasn't wrestled since October 2021. Ro, where do you see him going from here?
A whole bunch of places. So, he's probably most obviously moving to America kasi marami na siyang equity among the American Western fans. So a lot of people will be expecting him to show up at AEW because it's the only natural landing place. But right now he's free to do whatever. He's had issues with Japan, New Japan not clearing him despite him being fine. He was hurt really bad noong 2021 and he took some time to recover and then he recovered, but they wouldn't let him on for some reason. And he got mad at that. And now he was able to secure his release. And now I'm guessing he's rested enough to do whatever, and whatever being an exhibition match with Manny Pacquiao.
Ikaw, Emile, where do you want to see Kota Ibushi?
Honestly, everywhere. Because I don't think Kota Ibushi is the type of wrestler na he just want to be tied down with a single company. I mean, even before, in NJPW, he didn't really sign an exclusive contract with NJPW. He was technically a freelancer for the first, 4 years in his stay in New Japan. He signed the contract when they decided to give him the championship. So, I think papagpatuloy lang yung pagiging freelancer niya. He wants to wrestle everywhere that he desires and wants. So, kahit saan. I think Kota is one of those guys na no matter where he works, people will come because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Okay, etong tanong. Do you want to see Kota Ibushi versus Manny Pacquiao? That's
something that I think I'm gonna be interested in because it's two different worlds. And Manny Pacquiao is one of our own. And Kota Ibushi, of course, for us wrestling fans, one of the best in the industry. So it's gonna be a crossover of two worlds, and I think there's gonna be a crossover appeal. Like more Filipinos will get to know Kota Ibushi more, and maybe they'll get interested in Japanese wrestling and in pro wrestling in general. So it's a welcome crossover for me. But yeah,
may guwapo, may sexing hapon. Kalaban ni Manny Pacquiao.
Would Manny Pacquiao even know who Ibushi is?
It doesn't matter. Okay, there's a related question from our college friend, Eunice Braga, who's tuned in. Hey, Eunice. Ang tanong niya, bakit magpapabugbog si Manny Pacquiao? The answer is wala na siyang pera. I mean, what else? Why else would you take? Why else would you take a money fight like that, diba?
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao in his 40s, diba? Having gone through everything he's gone through in his boxing career, a senatorial campaign, a presidential campaign, and all of that. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is a good idea for Pacquiao. I think Kota Ibushi will win more than Manny Pacquiao will in a situation like this.
This is an MMA fight. It has to be said. So unless Manny is suddenly training in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, I don't think he has a shot against an actual kickboxer in Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, so not a good idea if I were Manny. Yun lang, just want to put that out there. But for the sake of Kota Ibushi actually getting more publicity and becoming a bigger name in mainstream sports, hell yeah, I want to see this happen.
Yeah, I want to see it happen for the memes. It will be fertile meme territory.
Hindi lang yun. Kota Ibushi will actually have the honor of getting to punch a Philippine senator.
A Philippine homophobe.
Yes. So, not everybody gets to do that. So,
Let's remember that Ibushi is a gay icon.
Yes.
Yep.
That he is.
Actually, when I saw the headline this morning, I thought it was a joke. Kasi sobrang layo eh. Like Kota Ibushi tapos Manny Pacquiao.
Yep.
Like it it's something that no one ever thought of until lumabas tong rumor na to. So it's wild. I woke up this morning with a wild headline of seeing this one.
Gusto pala namin i-dedicate tong news bit na to kay Reddit Regal kasi sinabi
Kay
niya
admin Reddit Regal.
Kay admin Reddit Regal, alang-alang lang sa kanya kaya namin to in-include sa agenda ngayong gabi.
Yeah, that's not taken to the fact that, I actually saw the news and put it in. It's all for him. It's all for Reddit Regal kasi he contributed this piece of news to our agenda.
Maraming salamat admin Reddit Regal. Kaya natin ito ng walang droga. All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to be reviewing the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about our reactions to Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley winning and Sami Zayn's epic moment. All of that coming up in a bit. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. And we're back. It's time for us to talk about the Royal Rumble. So we got to start off with the big piece of the biggest talking point coming out of the premium live event, and that was Sami Zayn's moment. So, ang dami nang nasabi about this all over social media. If you want to read yung thread ni Myth GIFs, go right ahead. She has a lot to say about that as well. But I want to get yung takes ninyo because like all of us were expecting this to happen at some point, but did you think it was gonna happen at the Royal Rumble premium live event? Let's start with you, Emile.
Dito sa podcast, I've been saying over the last few weeks na the turn will happen at the Elimination Chamber, but looks like mas napaaga ng onte. I thought they were really building into like siguro a Mania match between Roman and Sami. I really do. But after the events of the last week, even though gusto ko ng Sami Roman at Mania, the Elimination Chamber match that is rumored to be happening between Roman and Sami, okay na yun kasi hometown ni Sami eh. So it's gonna be a big time match. And I didn't think the turn would happen at Rumble, but I'm glad it did.
Ikaw, Ro, what did you feel about this cinematic moment?
I knew the turn would happen at the Rumble because they set it up. They set up the final test, kumbaga, for Sami Zayn. And we were talking about this on the Picks of the Week episode, which you should definitely go listen to because we poured our heart and soul into that. We said that we didn't expect to go home from the Royal Rumble empty-handed. Diba? So there was a tease. There was a major hint that something big was about to go down. And for me, I think it wasn't going to be acceptable if it wasn't the eventual implosion of the bloodline. Of Sami Zayn. I didn't expect Jey Uso. That's a whole different story. Pero I knew that it had to happen because malapit na tayo sa WrestleMania. Yes, Elimination Chamber is at Montreal. But all signs were pointing to the fact that there was something going to be set up, which was probably involving Sami going against Roman. So it had to be that. And I don't think for me it could have been anything else.
Sobrang ganda because everybody just played their part so well, particularly Jey Uso kasi yung pag-walk out niya through everything was such a glass-shattering moment. It really took us back to 2020. Now, when you think about it, sa kanya nagsimula, di ba? Jey Uso was the first person that Roman Reigns literally broke and defeated en route to this huge run that he's had carrying on into 2023. And Emile, you asked us on Discord during the watch party na for someone like Kevin Owens, who is a babyface right now, but also did so many heelish things. How can you excuse everything he's done? Right? Where did that question come from before I give you my take on it?
Again, I was just, while watching the match, I was just thinking about stuff and, people are really behind Kevin Owens pero naisip ko din yung past few years. He was a heel for a really long time and his gimmick is literally like backstabbing people, betraying people, lying to people. And then now, so yun lang yung naisip ko din. But I actually love your explanation to my question.
Bago mo muna purihin, let me explain first yung rebuttal ko kay Emile, no? I told Emile right after our watch party on Discord na when you take a look at Kevin Owens, yung character niya at the heart of it is a prize fighter. He fights so he can win money for his family. Kapag naging champion siya, edi okay, mas maraming pera, di ba? So everything he's done in his career is in the service of making more money for his family. Contrast that with Roman Reigns, who is a megalomaniac, he is power hungry, he's a gaslighter, and he's a manipulator. All of the worst things you can be, diba? Especially for a straight male. So he's the worst piece of human trash that there is, diba? When people in the Alamo Dome were yelling "F you Roman," he deserved it, diba? What does he ultimately want? He just wants to have all the power. So very different yung motivations in a Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns' characters, which is why I say na you can actually still root for KO as a babyface kasi may pinanggagalingan siyang ultimately na parang medyo okay na purpose as opposed to Roman, who's just a megalomaniac.
I mean, beyond all of that, like, are you saying that people can't change, people can't grow, people can't take part in a character development arc? Are you supposed to hold them to what they were? What was it? 7 years ago? 6 years ago? 8?
However long it was.
9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago.
That's true naman, no? So, yun. Pag di lang pumasok sa utak ko na ganun, okay. May sense din pala yung why people are suddenly rooting for KO over Roman.
Etong si Jason, daming alam. Si Roman Reigns yung dinedescribe ko. Ikaw yung nag-accuse sa akin na may iba akong pinaparinggan eh. Daming alam ni Jace eh. Okay, any other thoughts on this turn? Kasi people are saying na, hey, Montreal, diba? Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn is probably going to be in the main event. But do any of you think na this should be the WrestleMania match, not Cody Rhodes?
You already know my answer to that. So, Emile, you go first.
In my heart of hearts, I still want Roman versus Sami to be the main event of WrestleMania because the WrestleMania is supposed to be a combination of a year-long or how many long months of storyline. And everything that has happened throughout the last year is building up towards this Roman and Sami match. So, for me, it's inorganic if Roman and Cody will main event. Yung mas madramang main event is Roman versus Sami.
Are we already talking about the Cody win? Like, is this...
We can segue into that, sure. Yeah.
Okay, everyone's right. People have been saying it online. People have been talking about it on podcasts. People have been chattering on the Twitter about this pickle of a situation. So, no, I don't think Cody should be the one with a title shot. I don't think he should be the one with a championship win. Yes, it was predestined for him, it seemed, but also it isn't. Like, life throws a wrench into plans, and Sami Zayn just had his own groundswell of support, not organic. And here's the thing. The one thing I didn't like about New Japan was that they were so stuck on their long-term story. Gedo was always stuck on his long-term story. Like, no matter what people would say, no matter who people would cheer, he had a plan and he would stick to it. And while that is admirable for a wrestling booker, being that flexible is just gonna piss a lot of people off. It's likely to piss your fans off. And if they are headed this way for this WrestleMania season, if we are sticking to the plan of Cody comes back, Cody wins the Rumble, people still cheer Cody, yes, but people are also cheering Sami Zayn. I think there will be a significant part of the fan base that will be turned off. And I don't care if it's not the people who are in the stands, who are in the seats in the live audience. Like, okay, maybe those people are going to cheer Cody, but that there remains a fact that you are still ignoring a wide section of your fans who genuinely love Sami Zayn because of the things you made Sami Zayn do and the situations you put Sami Zayn in, the scenes you put him in. So you can't just do this and leave him hanging.
Okay, so zooming out of that, we're gonna go to the Men's Royal Rumble. Kasi ultimately, dito naman talaga yung starting point of the road to WrestleMania. So, much has been said about the 2022 Rumble. and the chaos that it was. 2023, did you enjoy the men's Royal Rumble?
Yes, definitely. It was so much better than the 2022 Rumble because of a lot of things. First of all, the Cody win. I mean, people expected him to win, but the way he did it kind of surprised me. He entered at number 30, pero I felt like he still had to work for the win because he went up against Gunther in those last 10 minutes of the match, which we talked about as well during the pick of the week episode. And mas madaming mga entrants na who matters. And even though there wasn't really any surprise entrance, the match itself was really good. There was a lot of storytelling. There was a lot of feuds. There was a lot of matches that were set up during that Rumble. So this Rumble, really good for me.
Yeah, I agree. The Rumble was really good. People were right to praise it. Some people were crazy for not liking it. We'll talk about that in a bit. But this was a really well-structured Rumble, and it was like the Rumble that cared about wrestling the most, I think. Because it's not just Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, but it's also Cody and Gunther, and Triple H making Gunther a legit force on his roster. So I like that it wasn't just your usual. It wasn't even your usual at all. Your usual legend heavy, surprise heavy, gimmick match. It really felt like a match with reverence to the actual stakes on the line, which is a shot at the UWU Championship at the main event of WrestleMania. So a lot of times the Rumble doesn't quite feel like that. It's just an exercise in throwing people off the top rope, which is fine. Yes, it's the idea. Pero this Rumble felt like it was the realest, if you will.
What do you guys think of the fact now we only really had two surprises in Booker T and Logan Paul?
Yun na nga, no? The Rumble match was still great, even though there were only two surprise entrants. So that speaks volumes to how people really loved the Rumble and how the Rumble went, throughout how the Rumble match went, because they don't need to rely on legends, surprise appearances, just so that ma-entertain yung tao sa Royal Rumble match. The thing that I love with this is you really need to watch the match in order for you to love it. Hindi lang yung may mga certain points lang na may papasok na legend na ganito, tapos after that wala na yung attention span mo dun sa match. So this was a well-connected match from beginning to end.
Yeah, I'm not a big surprise entrant guy. Like I say, to me, the surprise entrants, they're not gonna win. They're not gonna stick around if nobody thinks they're gonna win.
Di pala mananalo si Carlito noong 2021.
No, di naman mananalo si Booker T, diba? So, Edge made the most sense as a surprise entrant. Kasi Edge could stick around and actually challenge for the UWU Championship, which he did like 2 years ago, diba?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm okay with no surprise entrants. People are so hung up on wanting their surprise guys.
Chris Masters, pare.
Yeah, they wanted Jay White. They wanted Naito. So yeah, those guys can stick around. Pero not having them didn't make the Rumble bad for me. Like I would much rather be restricted to the guys who are on the roster right now and have a legit claim to a championship shot.
Okay, let's talk about Cody Rhodes, the big elephant in the room. Came out at number 30 after having been announced as one of the first Royal Rumble entrants at the start of the year. So did the Cody Rhodes win feel right? Ro, I know you have a lot of feelings, so kay Emile muna tayo.
For me, yes. Kasi other than Cody, who else should win the Rumble? I mean, Sammy, but he wasn't in the match. So other than Sammy, I feel like this Rumble was destined for Cody. And they, hindi na nila pinakomplikado. Like, Cody's the obvious winner. He won the match.
Fuck this guy. Like, fuck him. Fuck this guy. I mean, okay, fine. Nobody else could have won the match. But how are you going to be a conquering hero if you show up at number 30? You wrestled a whole match with a fully torn pectoral muscle. You disgusted the entire world by showing them your ube chest. And you want me to believe that your roads to WrestleMania starts at being number 30, the easiest spot in the whole Royal Rumble, you know? Like, I would have had fewer strong feelings about this if he started at number 2, you know, or at least number 15, you know? Like, it's not a facey move. A lot of people have been sharing this opinion. It's not a facey move to enter at number 30, to win at number 30. Even though you go through the final boss, that is Gunther. The fact remains that he spent the whole hour and 10 minutes in the match and you did not. And I don't care if you're coming back from injury. If you were going to be a conquering hero, if you were tough enough to brave your injured chest, then you could have toughed out starting the whole match at the beginning. So, it doesn't do anything for me. It's a bad look for Cody. Obviously, this is a problem of creative. It's obviously not him unless he demanded himself that I start at number 30 and I win the match. Diba? It's just really bad optics all around, and I can't believe they greenlit that.
Teka, ito, devil's advocate. What about John Cena in 2008, who also came back from injury, came out at number 30 to a huge babyface reaction, and went on to win the Royal Rumble? What about Edge in 2010? What about Triple H in 2002?
That guy was a surprise. John Cena was a surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
Nobody knew he was coming back. But this guy, he announced he was coming back. He announced he was going to WrestleMania and started at number 30. So parang in-announce mo na, okay, nandito ako. I'm gonna take the whole thing, pero dun ako sa dulo. So, you know, it's not a facey move at all. It's not something that's befitting of a hero that he wants to be, you know.
Hindi na naman babyface yung, so surprise ko kayo lahat. I'm gonna come back at number 30. My name is John Cena. And everybody loved it. People still go back to John Cena to this day in 2008 return niya as one of the better Royal Rumble wins in history. So what makes John Cena different from Cody Rhodes?
John Cena was a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Yung return to form was, I remember this clearly because I was watching the Rumble live sa shopping center.
Sa UP?
Yeah, sa UP. I had a morning class and, you know, I had time to kill. So I was watching it's a green shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Green shop. We didn't know back then that he was coming back. Like, the prognosis was hanggang WrestleMania injury niya.
Yeah.
So I think the babyface pop came from the fact that it was a clear overcoming of his injury, and he wasn't pompous about it. He wasn't a self-important ass about it. He didn't have months worth of video packages talking about himself and his road to recovery. So he wasn't a self-centered dick about the whole thing.
Glenn has a good question in the comments. Would you have felt the same way if Cody did not announce his return?
Maybe. I mean, felt the same way? Probably not. Sige, I'll give it to him now. Okay, nice surprise. I would have been okay with that. Like, he didn't go through the whole process of grandstanding and just, you know,
giving us weeks of vignettes.
Yeah, building up the hype. I don't know, yung talaga yung problema, he built up the hype and he wanted to be this big conquering figure, but it was not that.
Eto, tanong ni Janelle, kayfabe-wise, di naman nila pinipili yung number eh. So paano kung sinuwerte
Yes,
na si Cody and he drew number 30?
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, no way.
Jesus Christ.
All right, any other feelings about Cody Rhodes before we talk about Big Walt?
Wait, see, Eunice has a question. May factor by the fact the Nepo baby is Cody Rhodes as a reason. It's not the fact that he's a Nepo baby, because there are a lot of people who are Nepo babies, like Orton.
Cena.
Yeah. No, Cena is technically a Nepo baby, but his dad wasn't, at the top of he wasn't in WWE. My problem with Cody is not because he is a Rhodes. So let's make that clear. Being a Rhodes does not make you an asshole. Being an asshole makes you an asshole.
I don't know, para clear. Ako wala akong problema with the Cody Rhodes win. I actually cried on the live stream when it happened.
You can win. Sige, he can win. Emile was right. Nobody else could have won that match, technically. Like, Sammy wasn't in the match. I just wished he came out earlier and toughed out this. Because people were cheering the whole Hell in a Cell performance.
The man had half a titty.
Yeah, people like that. So why couldn't he do that?
The man still has half a titty.
No, it's surgically repaired now.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Gunther, the ring general, who's become a made man, as if he wasn't a made man already after that Marathon Man performance in the Royal Rumble match. Longest time spent in a 30-man Royal Rumble match at 1 hour and 11 minutes. This man, holy crap, kung hindi ka pa Gunther believer after this Royal Rumble, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah. I know how the sausage is made for matches like this, but I won't shatter that glass for you. But despite that, the fact that you can be out there for an hour without water, without food, just toughing it out based on your physical stamina and still have generally active 7-minute stretch of match where you are still performing at a high level. This man is on another level talaga. Like, he didn't just lose weight. He proved that he is in phenomenal shape.
Yeah. Ikaw, Emile, what did you think about seeing Gunther's performance?
If you are still having doubts about Gunther, if you still have concerns about him in the main roster, this performance should erase any of that. Because he's now a main event star, I think, in the WWE in the main roster. And I think now he's like the at least second best heel in the company.
See you first.
Roman. It's still Roman. But a close second is Gunther. And whenever Roman would lose the titles and maybe go on a break or something, expect Gunther to be that number one heel in the company. That's how much I believe in this man. And this performance has reiterated my faith in him that he's going to be fine in the main roster.
I just want Gunther to get something for lasting this long in a Royal Rumble match. He deserves some sort of reward coming out of the Rumble.
Yeah, I proposed actually on Discord. I want him to have... actually, not just him, but moving forward, the person who gets eliminated last should have something. Kasi even no matter how long you stay there, even if it's an hour and 7 minutes or 10 minutes or 1 minute or so, you should still have something for being the last guy to get out of the match. And especially because Gunther had an Iron Man performance, he should get the next shot after whoever wins the championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Okay, before we get to our next talk point, did you guys know now of the 29 people in the Royal Rumble match, some men's, only 4 of them were under the age of 30.
Oh, I heard that stat on the Masked Man show.
That's right. So ikaw, Emile, can you name the 4 guys?
Okay, so sino ba? Austin Theory.
Okay, that's one.
Who else? Sino ba yung nasa Rumble?
You have to pull up the whole list.
Yeah, the whole list.
Let's pull up the whole list.
You have Austin Theory.
Okay.
So Emile's looking at the list right now para sa
I'm
mga
looking at the
nanonood
list.
live. Yeah.
Because I feel like I would know who's also like Maka age ko.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, let me just see
Let
that.
me pull it up. Ang bagal ng internet natin eh. Dito sa but make your guesses, man.
Oh nga, make a guess, Emile. Don't you remember who was in the Rumble?
May isang ex ko doon, di mo alam?
Oh,
si Dominic.
Oh, yun. Dalawa ka na.
Dominic. Sino pa ba?
May isa doon kupal, may isa malaking bulas.
Otis?
Not Otis. Otis is over 30. Pero close.
Who else? Wait, let me just put...
Sabi ko malaking bulas. Sino pa ba yung mga malaking bulas sa Rumble?
The crypto scammer and pig abandoner.
Oh, Logan Paul is under 30?
Yes, he's 27.
Wow.
And then yung malaking bulas is Omos.
Oh, yeah.
Omos is 27.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay? So 4 guys. Okay, let's talk about Logan Paul. So that was the setup for Logan Paul. He came back and he made a viral moment out of that moment with Ricochet in midair, that collision. And finally, he's embracing yung natural heel persona niya, which I don't know why it took them this long, but I'm happy that this is happening. And it looks like Logan Paul and Seth Rollins are gonna tango at WrestleMania.
I'm okay with Logan Paul being back as a heel because if you have been keeping tabs about Logan Paul recently, he's not the guy you want to cheer for. And so kudos, I guess, to WWE and to Logan himself for realizing that people are not going to root for him anytime soon. So I'm glad that he had a change of heart and he welcomed being booed by the audience.
Heel na ba talaga siya? Like, did he embrace that too? Because
I'd like to think so.
I think, yeah.
Because you know how he is. He's Ace Spade. He wants to be the face, and
I think
you would be blind as hell. You would be lacking so much self-awareness if you didn't think that you were the heel in all of this.
Pero yung mga kinupal niya in the match were the baby faces.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And then when he got eliminated, yung facial reactions niya were typical of a heel.
Yeah, he's whining.
When he eliminated Seth, it was in such a kupal way na you could not justify that as a baby face.
All right. That makes sense. Sige,
right?
But yun lang naman ang gusto ko kasi he's not a face. Nobody thinks ever he's a face.
Except yung mga fanboy niya. Omos is 28 pala. So yun, just wanted to make that clear. But yes, Logan Paul's like 27. Okay, since we mentioned Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins for WrestleMania, which we're willing to put money on is probably gonna happen, and wala kaming inside information or whatever, the Rumble also set up multiple storylines heading into the Chamber and WrestleMania. Most notably, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. So what did you think about the Rumble being a plot device for so many stories that we're gonna see over the next few weeks?
Yun na nga yung sinasabi ni Ro earlier. Like, the Rumble match was great because it was able to be a story, like parang storyline machine. Like you put not yung parang hindi lang you put a random number of wrestlers and let them have a match, but also set up multiple stories, multiple feuds that para ma-maximize din yung match itself, no? And I love that within the match I could have count like 5 or 6 possible matchups, future matchups, or future feuds down the line.
Actually, this is how we booked yung Path of Gold match sa PWR. So the Path of Gold match was obviously the Royal Rumble for us kasi we had to have a Royal Rumble match. We booked it in a way that it set up and advanced a lot of different stories in the mid card. You had a winner, but syempre, you had a lot of other people interacting. And now that I think about it, I felt like Vince never treated it that way, the Royal Rumble that way. But I don't remember small matches being made in his Royal Rumbles. Parang it was all in the service of trying to win the Royal Rumble match.
Hindi naman, to be fair, there was Undertaker Shawn Michaels that got set up through the Royal Rumble.
What else?
Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, 10 years after that, was also set up through the Royal Rumble.
Those were your big moments, your big feuds, diba?
Yeah.
But not in this kind of scale na everyone had a thing.
Yeah, that was going to lead to something else. But you had Edge and Judgment Day. Even the women, you had a lot of these things. Like Bailey Becky, diba, was also set up through the Rumble, even though none of those women even made it to the final 5.
Yeah,
diba?
Exactly.
But yeah, I love this. I loved how, even as we were calling the Royal Rumble matches, I could tell na parang, okay, dito siya patungo. So that's actually a step in the right direction. And I love it.
Yeah. Dapat lang ganun talaga. I mean, like, yes, the Rumble is a bunch of people trying to win, trying to eliminate the last person. Pero syempre, not everyone can realistically do that. So you gotta set up the other stuff. This is your major plot device.
Right. Ikaw, Emile, any other thoughts about this?
Saka, the problem of WrestleManias in the last few years is, aside from like the big storyline, the main event, parang kulang yung oras nila for the other feuds eh. So if you set it up as early as the Rumble, you're gonna have ample time to build up all these other feuds that you want to feature at WrestleMania. And I think they did a really good job of setting up multiple matchups that is gonna happen at WrestleMania. So that was a really good Rumble in terms of storylines.
All right, let's head over to the Women's Royal Rumble. And we got to start at number 1 with the winner. That's Mommy Rhea Ripley, having a hell of a run. Made it all the way to the end alongside Liv Morgan, who was at number 2. And Rhea Ripley was already a star heading into this Royal Rumble match. She's already a former champion, but I think this makes her star even bigger than it already is.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself for not projecting her to win. But okay lang. It goes to show that I think there are a lot more options in the women's division. Like, it's not as clear cut as, I mean, the men's is not as clear cut as the women. So that's pretty cool. And Rhea deserves it then. And her choice, are we talking about her choice?
Yeah. Sige.
Her choice to face Charlotte is a breath of fresh air kasi SmackDown really needs more star power.
Di lang yun, it's also built on history from 2020.
Yeah.
When Charlotte won the Rumble and went after Rhea of all people. Right?
And as much as I said, I think on the pick of the week or on the last week live stream that I really want that matchup na Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley because they were like the two biggest stars of the last few years of the women's division, and yet they have never faced each other in a one-on-one match. So yung akala ko they were building up towards that at Mania, but turns out hindi. But I like the Charlotte pick also because yun, may history na eh. And I think Rhea will get her revenge on Charlotte.
Yeah, I just gotta say, one of the things I like coming out of the Women's Rumble is how the other members of the Final Five, not including Rhea Ripley, automatically got entered into the Elimination Chamber match as a prize for having made it that far. I thought that was a good storytelling device. It was good that in kayfabe, Adam Pearce thought of it. Na parang, why did it take us like 30 plus years of the Rumble before we thought of that?
Kasi may Elimination Chamber. Because if there wasn't an Elimination Chamber where you had to fill six spots, you wouldn't have had a use for those runners up. So yun lang.
Kumbaga parang consolation prize. Ito yung spots na binigay to the like other like four who was like final five or something.
Pag hindi ka Miss Universe, Miss Supranational ka. Parang ganun.
Yeah, exactly.
Diba? Okay, let's talk about Piper Niven. Really happy to have seen her get her old name back, right? So none of us saw this coming, I think, except for the few who were saying that, she might get her old name back. I think this was reported in the dirt sheets several weeks ago, but I didn't think it was actually going to happen until I saw the words Piper Niven on her Tron. So what did you think about that, Ro? Because I know you were not a fan of the name Doudrop.
Yeah, I'm a big Piper Niven fan. Kaya this was really great. I miss Piper Niven. She is obviously the better Nia Jax. I like that she returned her old name, even though that's not her real ring name. It was a much better reflection of her character. Like, who wants to be called Doudrop, diba? Unless you have a major trip, diba? So it's all good. My problem now is obviously they don't have a bunch of time on Raw for everyone, so I don't know how they're going to build this up. But very much welcome change.
Di ba Doudrop was like giving pinangalan sa kanya ni Eva Marie?
Yeah. And Eva Marie's no longer there.
So
it's stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Doudrop was always going to be temporary. Like when people were talking about possibly her returning, I have always thought that she's gonna go back to her old name, especially now Triple H is the one in charge, and it's been a trend when Triple H took over that people got their names back. So I'm glad to see Piper Niven back in the WWE, and like Rose said, she's much better Nia Jax, and you always need a Nia, like someone like her in the roster as to be the muscle of the division.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about Nia Jax in a bit because I want to talk about Chelsea Green making her return to WWE, and we've seen, and it's been confirmed based on her appearance on Raw, that she's re-debuted and been repackaged as a Karen. So what do you think about a Karen character being introduced in 2023?
It's about time. Vince would have known what a Karen was. So, okay then. It fits, I guess, because you do need something to make you stand out. So, I don't know. I don't watch or haven't watched enough Chelsea Green to judge her ring work. But I don't know if it's like the best character for her. But sige, push natin.
All right. Ikaw, Emile. Do you like Chelsea Green? Did you want to see her come back?
Honestly, I haven't really. really haven't much known of Chelsea Green before. I mean, I watched her on Impact, but I didn't really feel like her gimmick would have translated well in WWE. I mean, they tried in her first stint there with parang yung like I think that was a diva gimmick, and then now she's back with the Karen, and it fits. It fits. It's about time we have a Karen gimmick, and I feel like her acting is well enough to do that role some justice. So she's a perfect person to do the Karen gimmick in the WWE.
Oh, to my question from Ina in the comments, what is a Karen?
What is a Karen?
What is it?
No, Karen is it's a caricature, diba, of the typical American tita na mareklamo, ang daming kuda, na hindi naman justified, feeling very entitled, na the customer's always right kahit na halatang-halata na mali siya. They're often white females.
Yeah.
That is the stereotype of a Karen.
That's why they're called Karen.
Yes. So yun lang naman. I mean, we also acknowledge na anyone can be named Karen regardless of your race.
Yes.
But the stereotype of a Karen is that they're a white lady. So, yeah, a white woman.
A white lady.
Yeah, they're a white woman. And Chelsea Green is a white woman. So, yeah. It fits, to be fair. Bagay naman sa kanya yung role. And I actually like it for her. It's very current.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince wouldn't have known that.
All right, let's talk about the return of Asuka. Eto na, you guys have been waiting for this in the comments. People popped as soon as she came out with that mask, and then the moment that she unmasked, we saw the Asuka, the Kana that we wanted to see for so long. So, does this count as a surprise you like to see the most, or you wanted to see the most?
I didn't know I wanted to see it. Syempre I was being teased, but it was great. It was a surprise, yes. I wouldn't say it was something I wanted to see the most, but it is a good return to form for Asuka. Kasi Vince did her dirty. Even though you might say that she enjoyed being fun and medyo quirky, obviously, if she wanted to stay that way, she would have, diba? If she wouldn't have done this character change if she didn't want to.
People in the comments want so many women to step on them. Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Piper Niven. Pumili nga kayo ng isa. Ikaw, Emile, magpapaka ba kayo Dark Asuka?
Yes. And I really love this persona of Asuka, because for those who have watched her before her time in WWE, this is one of her this is like the final boss version of her. And again, we
mega evolution ni Asuka.
Yeah, like we would love for Asuka to be taken more seriously, I guess. I mean, she did naman with her previous persona, but I feel like this is the right gimmick for it, for like a main event, like badass Asuka run.
Mm-hmm. So with this version of Asuka, and now that we know that Rhea Ripley is going after Charlotte Flair, do you think this Dark Asuka is Bianca's next challenger?
Dapat lang.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you do with it, diba?
She's in the chamber.
She's in the chamber. She is mouthing off at Karen. So dapat lang. There is no other way. Like, who else are you gonna put before Bianca? I think Bianca's beaten them all.
I don't know. The chamber as it stands is Raquel, Liv, Asuka, and Nikki Cross, and dalawang TBD. Yeah. So I can't really think of anyone that's not Dark Asuka going up against Bianca.
Dark Asuka should be OP. That's the one thing that I
think she will be.
Yeah, she should be OP, I guess.
Yeah, that's overpowered for those who don't speak internet. All right, last couple of things before we head to the end of our live stream. Nia Jax is apparently not signed back. So, based on what we saw, parang one-time thing lang siya. We didn't see her on Raw. I don't know if she might show up on SmackDown, pero ang bali-balita is baka one-time thing lang to. So, what do you guys think about this one?
I don't hate Nia Jax as much as most people do. Like, there is a market, there is a niche for her. Pero, obviously, she's not popular. So, okay lang din that, sige, it's not a big loss. It's not a big gain. It's not a big loss. So I don't know why Triple H brought her back. So maybe that's the head scratcher here. But it is what it is. And it's just a thing. Like, it doesn't matter. Rhea won.
Yeah, and Okay lang naman eh. It's a one-time thing. I mean, not everyone who's gonna like not everyone who is a surprise entrant in the Rumble is gonna be signed or is gonna be there for the long term. So, yung mga I think we said this before when the topic was yung like too much on the returns. Like there's some people now you don't really need to bring them back like full time. You just need to maybe have them appear at the Rumble. Like that's the place where you have those returns that you don't really want in your roster for the long run.
Eto, last thing on the Women's Rumble, and this is a question I also heard get asked on the Masked Man show. What do you guys think of someone like Nia Jax or a Braun Strowman na, they're homegrown WWE products, they get released during the pandemic, and then they didn't really get to show up anywhere else. And then sa WWE lang din sila bumalik or nagpakita ulit.
Wala. I mean, masaya sila na not wrestling. I know Nia, after she got released, she didn't really want to wrestle again. She didn't trash the indies like Braun did, pero it did seem like she was set for life. I mean, hindi naman for life, pero she was just okay. And who are we to judge that? Like,
no, that's a great point. Yeah.
Sige, so I didn't really mind Nia not showing up anywhere. I think a lot of people didn't really mind that as well. So, wala. I mean, okay, so she didn't show up. Nobody's looking for her.
Yun din eh. Wala din masyadong demand for Nia Jax anywhere. Like no one is in the internet screaming, "Oh, I want Nia Jax in AEW." No one's saying that. So
talaga nahanap sa buong internet wala nagsabi nun. Talaga.
Or the general population doesn't really say that. Or like with Braun Strowman, like no one wanted Braun Strowman to be anywhere else, but siguro some people want him back in WWE. But when we talk about other places, I didn't hear any people hype for Braun Strowman appearing in their promotion. So it's okay lang naman. Wala namang problema dun, I think, for me.
All right. Sige, last bit about the Royal Rumble PLE is the Pitch Black match. And this is... Well, okay, let me just get my feelings out there before Ro gets his. Ako, bilang binabayaran ako, wala akong problema sa mga client. Wala akong problema sa mga sponsored content. Kasi nakakatulong yan sa bottom line ng kumpanya.
Yeah.
Nakakatulong yan sa pambayad sa talents. Nakakatulong yan sa pambayad sa akin. So pag akong tatanungin mo, basta bayad yan, okay na okay yan sa akin. Wala akong problema dyan.
I have no problems with sponsored content either. I have no problems with sponsorships. That is literally my line of work. I propose these sponsorships for platforms like WWE. This is a part of our job. So I don't hate the idea of corporate sponsorships. That's also where I agree with you. Emile, what do you think? Because I know Rowan doesn't like corporate sponsorships.
Oh, si Rowan galit sa pera yan. Kaya pag tayo naka-lockdown tayo ng deal na close natin, walang cut si Rowan.
Yeah, I'm okay with sponsors. I mean, you already pretty much said what I think most people feel about corporate sponsorships. It helps the company. I mean, pera yan eh. Ba't mo tatanggihan yung swerte? Ba't mo tatanggihan yung pera? So, napaka naman nun. Napaka bad thing for a business to decline such corporate sponsorships like Mountain Dew.
Yeah. I don't hate the idea of Mountain Dew sponsoring something, but why did it have to be Bray Wyatt? Like, why this?
Malay mo naman, favorite na si Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
threw money at him.
Obviously, the client was approved Bray Wyatt. Like, yes. Pero, do some research, man. Like, why is this the guy you would sponsor a Miami nightclub rave match, diba? Why is he the one getting a soda sponsorship? Like,
sige, kung hindi sina Bray and LA Knight, sino?
Actually, LA Knight is like he did his part well. Like in the adverts leading to the match, you really did well. So I'm okay with LA Knight, but not Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, kasi Bray Wyatt is doing this super serious, supernatural, Moon Knight-ish character that nobody understands, and then you undermine all of that seriousness with a glow-in-the-dark blacklight match, diba? So how does that connect? It's like the client chose that guy and ran with it, assuming it all made sense, but it did not. hindi tugma eh. Like, I don't know why sales also allowed this. I don't know why creative didn't fight back on this and suggested someone else. I'm sure there could have been someone else. Like, I don't know, Alexa, Bianca. That was less. That was less supernatural than this, I would say, and I would have much rather seen them in a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Just not this, because it doesn't fit. It is not a fitting vehicle for your brand placement.
Okay, so we've talked about the corporate sponsorship of it all. So let's talk about the actual match and the story.
Yeah.
Where does Bray Wyatt go from here? Because LA Knight is dead. I mean, Uncle Howdy straight up unalived the guy.
Yeah, he missed.
Yeah, he missed.
He missed.
All right, so let's say Uncle Howdy.
So, that was a fail because he missed. So that killed Bray's credibility even more.
Uncle Howdy didn't get all of it. LA Knight got unalived. Paano si Bray Wyatt?
I don't know, chat. Chat, are you still Bray Wyatt fans after all this? Because
I can't think of anyone else to feud with Bray at this point. Like, na babagay. I don't know. I'm lost.
I'm just fucking done with Bray Wyatt. I'm just fucking done. Like, when he came back, I wasn't even excited because I knew the Fiend stuff from before he left. Diba? Yes, the White Rabbit tease was fun. It was innovative with all the QR codes and all that shit, all the little details. But this stuff is just bad. Like, Bray Wyatt has too much creative freedom, and that is an actual thing. Like, it's not always good to have that much creative freedom. Like, I want Wyndham Rotunda to stop writing his shit. I'm just done. Like, I don't know how any of you can still stomach this because it makes zero sense. Maybe it makes a little sense in his head, but it's not presented in a way that makes it easy for anyone to follow. Because Moon Knight was easy for people to follow. That was understandable, and it was complex as hell. But I got it. You got it. Everyone got it.
Yeah.
And Bray Wyatt, it's just not. It's just dense, I'm just done. Like, I don't know why we still do this. Why we still carry on with this.
In 9 years of podcasting with Ro, I don't remember the last time that he has given up on any character. I literally do not. Okay. This is a first in the 9 years we've been podcasting. But I just gotta say, ako, bottom line, masaya ako na nagkapera sina LA Knight at Bray Wyatt.
LA Knight deserves the money.
Deserve nila.
No. LA Knight deserves the money. He's been carrying this shit. He willingly subjected himself to this insane, vague bullshit that not even he understands. He literally said he doesn't understand what was going on. But he said that on SmackDown. He doesn't know what was going on. He was just playing along and, for his career, diba? Para umusbong yung career niya. But otherwise, this is just I feel bad for LA Knight the most. It's one of those things that you understand because he was getting that bag, but also it's just sad because he was stuck with it, I would say.
Ikaw, Emile, may feelings ka pa ba?
No, Ro pretty much said everything that I wanted to say as well. LA Knight, his back must be hurting from carrying this feud.
Oh. And he lost. He fucking lost.
Yeah, so,
and he had to deal with the embarrassment of not getting hit with the falling Uncle Howdy.
Yep, so...
Sa bottom line, masaya ako binayaran sila. On the record.
Speaking of the corporate sponsorships, I think the NBA used Mountain Dew better than the WWE. I mean,
explain.
Yung gusto ko, this one I really didn't like how they used, but with the NBA with how they used the Mountain Dew, the 3-point contest, incorporate the Mountain Dew with the Dew Zone and the green ball.
I remember that from last year. Yes.
I think wala naman problema with sponsorships. The only problem is yung company, what they will do with that sponsorship.
With the visuals of the Pitch Black match, it would have been a really good time to have Naomi there.
Oh. Yeah. That could have been, if you were going to have a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, why not bring back Naomi to face Bianca Belair? That was the perfect fit for it. I just hope that they offered it to her. You will get the sponsorship money from Mountain Dew just to have your signature aesthetic on it.
Well, we never know. For now, as it stands, we are where we are, and it is what it is. Okay, we promised you guys now we were going to do the NXT Vengeance Day predictions, but we're closing in on an hour on the live stream, and we don't want to put you through a supersized live show just because you all have something better to do on a Thursday night. So we're going to include that in the audio-only part, along with our thoughts on Samoa Joe winning back the TNT Championship, all right? So go watch out for all of that when the audio-only version of this episode drops on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts by tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right? Picks of the week, that's coming up on Tuesday next week. So abangan nyo rin yan, please. But if you want to put your picks of the week in the comments, go right ahead. Di rin namin kayo pipigilan.
Di rin namin babasahin.
Oh, yeah. We just can't do that tonight. Okay? For now, let's get to some plugs. Emile, what do you have going on?
All right, so just follow me on TikTok. I just posted a video yesterday. Nag-predict ko yung kung sino makapasok sa All-Star Reserves for the NBA All-Star Weekend. So if you want to see my picks, follow me on TikTok.
Pag nagkamali si Emile, singilin nyo siya.
At EML_Meister22 and also on Twitter at EML_Meister. So
Yun, just follow us on TikTok at Wrestling2XPod. No new things to plug, no new episodes of any other podcasts to plug. Follow as well. Support MWF, Manila Wrestling Federation. The season is going to pick back up next month. So you have time to catch up on everything that's happened in 2022 by subscribing to MWF on Gang. Just go to ManilaWrestling.com and sign up for $10 or around 5 or 640 pesos, 540 pesos. Really cheap. You can use credit card, debit card, GCash, all of that easy payment methods. So again, ManilaWrestling.com, and we'll see you soon. If you are going to some live events here in the Philippines, we have changed up the venue schedule. First, we'll be doing fitness playground. Sorry, I forgot what it was. For the TV tapings, and then Power Max Center Spotlight for our big events, which will be happening thrice this year. So stay tuned for that. Actually, nandun yung buong schedule eh. So you can plan your weekends of live wrestling around it. Yun lang.
All right. For me naman, namaalam na ako sa radyo for the time being. So I'm going to be resurrecting On Deck with Stan C. Season 5 of the podcast will happen at the end of this quarter of the year. I promise you guys that. All right. So go follow the podcast if you haven't yet. It's On Deck with Stan C on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Big shout outs once again to Babyface producer Mike and the rest of the team in the control booth and our bosses over here at Podcast Network Asia. Maraming salamat po. It's great to be back live and in the studio. This is going to happen more than once in the year of our Lord 2023. Kita tayo ulit. And as always, you can follow us everywhere at EML_Meister, at Ro is War, at Chino Supersized, at Monday Night Rowan, and at _Stan C. On behalf of Ro Moran and Emile ASH, my name is Stan C, saying thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick, all right?
Wear your seatbelts. Peace.
Yes. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye. Time for the audio-only portion of this week's podcast. And as we promised, we're going to talk about NXT Vengeance Day, which is happening this weekend. That's going to be on Sunday, Manila time. Hindi natin alam kung magpapakita siya on Disney Plus, sa totoo lang.
It's Thursday. So if it hasn't been posted to social media and Disney Plus, then it is no luck for us. We are shit out of luck.
Kanya-kanyang paraan na lang. Paraan na lang sa panonood ng NXT Vengeance Day. Kasi wala sa Disney Plus eh. Anyway, 6 matches on the card for NXT's first premium live event outside of the Performance Center since Stand and Deliver from last year. So let's start with the NXT Tag Team Championship. It's a fatal 4-way. It's the New Day. They've been feuding with Pretty Deadly, and then Gallows inserted themselves in the conversation. And then this past week, merong triple threat where the winners, Chase U, inserted themselves into the match. So now it's a fatal 4-way. So I don't know about you guys, but I think tapos na yung run ng New Day as tag team champions.
Yeah, I agree. It's been fun. Okay na rin to. Like, they have been appearing much more on SmackDown, so it's okay to end the New Day experiment. I think they did what they set out to do, and I think this is a way to get the championships back to Gallus. Or to Gallus.
So Gallus is your pick. Ikaw, Emile, what's your pick?
Same thing then. I got Gallus winning this one because... And then... I like the multi-team setup because I think again New Day They're pretty much done in NXT. They did what they can do down there. And it's time for them to go back to the main roster. And the way to do that is to have this multi-tag team match so that they don't get pinned. And they will also lose the titles at the same time. So it's a pretty good way of
losing and not losing.
Yeah, protecting New Day. So, but then out of the three teams, I think the team with the most momentum right now is Gallus.
Not Chase U?
No, not Chase U. Yeah, because they're gonna feud with what's the name of the Dyad?
Oh, the Dyad.
Yeah, I think they're gonna feud with Dyad. So I don't think they're gonna win the titles yet. So I got Gallus with this one winning this match.
Okay, so unanimous pick from the podcast. It's Gallus winning the NXT Tag Team Championships. Let's go over to the women's side of things with Katana Chance and Ate Kaden Carter taking on Kiana James and Fallon Henley for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. I actually think na Kiana James and Fallon Henley might win this kasi sila yung odd couple.
Yes, and not just because of that. The main roster women's tag team divisions are fucking dead. Hindi lang nila pinapansin masyado kasi so much is happening with the singles championships. So, if it were me, I would drop the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship and bring up the KCs to the main roster para naman may magawa si Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Because it's been sad. It's been sad for them. Nobody is literally around to challenge them for the championships.
Yeah, you kind of do need another women's tag team on the main roster. And I think the KCs have been in NXT long enough. Parang hinog na sila eh, I think. I hope. And if they're not hinog yet, then I think it's about time to see if they can be hinog sooner than later. So, yun. Ikaw, Emile, unanimous pick din ba?
Yeah. And mas intriguing kasi yung team nila Kiana and Fallon because I think in the recent weeks of NXT, they are kind of pinagagawa nila yung tag team ni Josh Briggs and the other guy.
Yeah, Brooks Jensen.
So I think someone from the two of them proposed na what if they just team up? And,
yeah, that was Brooks. Kasi nga simple ni Kiana James.
Yeah, so that's how we got to this match, and I feel like mas may buhay yung tag team titles if mapupunta kila Kiana James and Fallon Henley.
Yeah, parang ano to, MVP and Matt Hardy from the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. Next up, 2 out of 3 falls match between Apollo Crews and Carmelo Hayes. So this is like the rubber match between both guys because they're 1-1 against one another. I actually don't know who's winning this, but I think Apollo Crews has to stay at NXT kasi his long-term arc is him going after the NXT championship, di ba?
Ano ba yung stakes nito? Like,
wala.
Nobody has to leave, right?
Wala, pride lang.
Okay, yeah, diba? So that's why it's tough to call. Like, there is nothing on the line except for, bragging rights. Emile is right here. On one hand, nobody can lose. Like, I don't see anybody losing. It would have been so much better if somebody had to leave. Like, sige, let's say Cruz wins and he goes after... No, he really went after...
Diba, graduation match to ni Carmelo Hayes?
Baka nga eh. That's what I'm thinking as well. But they also had a lot of opportunities to pull the trigger on Hayes and they did not. So, I don't know. I don't know. Both people have challenged Braun already for the championship.
Yes.
So, I can't see them doing that again anytime soon unless we get a new champion. Sige.
Sana loser leaves NXT match to no?
Alam ko na. I'm going to predict this later. But based on that prediction, I feel like Apollo Crews should win.
Okay. I see where you're going. Ikaw, Emile.
Ano kasi, I'm still... If this is gonna be it for Melo, manghihinayang ako because I've always pegged him as the guy who's gonna take the title away from Braun. Ever since, even on this podcast, I've been saying that for a while now. He's gonna be the one who's gonna break Braun Breaker's winning streak, and it looks like that ship has pretty much sailed at this point because you got Grayson Waller, who now I think is gonna be. Oh no, spoilers for the later prediction, but you got someone like Grayson Waller now, so I don't know. Maybe Apollo because he has been losing the big matches lately. So I want him to at least win one. So I got Apollo winning this one.
Yeah. Yung nga sabi ko kanina, I think this might be Melo's graduation match after we've called it several big NXT events in a row. No? So with that logic, I think Apollo's winning this one as well. Next up, NXT North American Championship. It is Wesley versus American Chono. Dijak.
That's a good one. Dijak has to win kasi what else do you do with Dijak if he loses, diba?
Medyo mukhang gago si Dijak pag natalo siya rito.
Nga, diba? And I think Wesley is overdue na rin for a main roster call-up.
Talaga?
Yeah, I think he is. Kasi he's been stuck down there. He's pretty good. He's like the better signees that they've had over the past couple of years. So it is time for him. I don't know if he has a spot, but it is time for him. So I would see Dijak win. He would validate his comeback to NXT and his repackaging.
Yeah, he could be like NXT's Gunther.
Yeah, so I also got Dijak winning this one because a new gimmick eh. So they really had to put him over or else mabumukanta nga yung gimmick niya. And again, Wesley, di ba Wesley has been in NXT since like 2019 or
2021.
2021. Yeah, so it's been overdue na
yeah, he's too good for this. Like, yes, he is here to possibly bring out the best in the kids. Pero there are other people to do that. Like there's Apollo Crews, there's Dijak, who's I don't know, he's down there as well. So I don't think he is needed that much anymore.
All right. Moving on to the main singles championships. First, a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. It is Roxanne Perez versus Gigi Dolin versus JC Jane. And honestly, I don't see either of Toxic Attraction winning this unless they want to replicate the Lay Cool run.
Yeah. Pwede. But now it's Roxanne's to win. And again, if you want KC to go up, then I would bring up Toxic Attraction finally. Kasi napapag-iwanan na yung main roster Women's Tag Team Championship.
Again, overdue na din yung Toxic Attraction for a call-up because if I can remember it correctly, they were in the tournament, right? In the tag team.
Yes, but Gigi was injured.
Yeah, that's why. So siguro yun lang yung nakaderail nung yung call-up nila. But I think they are already due for a call-up. And again, paano sila magkakasundo kung sino mananalo? Like, that's even kayfabe logic of the match.
Layla and Michelle McCool made it work for a while.
Yeah.
They split the championship in half. They King Solomon it.
Literally in half.
But yeah, in the last episode of NXT, they pretty much teased na they won't cooperate with each other, and they still would wanna win it for themselves.
Actually, sorry to cut you off, but the more I think about it, the more I want Toxic Attraction to Lay Cool this.
I mean, okay.
I wasn't there for the Lay Cool run. Yun yung time na hindi ako nanonood ng wrestling, so I kind of want to see this for myself.
That would be interesting, and I'd be curious on how they would pull that off. Like, sino magpipin kay Roxanne, if they're gonna pin her at the same time or something. But in general, it's still kind of pretty early for Roxanne to lose her belt. So I got Roxanne winning this one.
All right. And the presumptive main event, the steel cage match for the NXT Championship. Is it Braun Breaker or is it our friend of the podcast, Grayson Waller?
Sana naman si Grayson. Everyone is done with Braun. Like, this current incarnation of Braun, because it's so not compelling. The booking behind him is not compelling. The way he wrestles the layout of his matches is not compelling. He doesn't give us yung high drama cardiac finishes that so characterize a bunch of great matches. So nothing about this is fun anymore, I would say. Like, I don't see anyone who is still cheering on Braun Breaker in this current incarnation. Like, yes, a lot of people don't like Grayson Waller even more. Pero at this point, the guy has been working so hard that you can't help but root for him.
Yeah. I mean, alam naman natin yung na-bias ko talaga si Grayson Waller.
Yeah, bias natin siya.
Yeah, before any one of you had seen him, I was already rooting for Grayson Waller. So I will be very, very upset if Grayson Waller doesn't get his time as NXT champion.
So, and saka yung statement ni Bro about Braun Breaker, it's not like Braun Breaker is a bad wrestler.
Yeah, he's not bad. It's just nothing around him is working right now.
Yeah. But nakaumay na eh. Like, it's like Goldberg but without all the hype.
True,
the hype
true.
and the excitement surrounding the winning streak that he's been having. So please, Grayson Waller, let Grayson Waller win at this point so that Braun can have a fresh start in the main roster or like somewhere else or something.
All right. Let's go to AEW now and let's talk about something from outside the ring. They announced that they're going to be going on tour now for house shows, and this is called the AEW House Rules. So it's a live event series taking place on select weekends in markets across the US. That's according to the press release that they dropped on their official website. And it took a while. Syempre, nagka-pandemic, so that obviously derailed their plans then. But Ro, business-wise, do you think this is a good move for AEW?
Yes, and experience-wise for the roster. Like it's fun. Personally, as a wrestler, it's fun to just wrestle once a week, twice a week even. Pero it's not going to do much for you, especially if you are among the many young boys and girls of the AEW roster. Like they need that, they need those reps, and you can't always count on them getting bookings in the shows. Diba? So, a lot of parts around the US also want to see AEW in their local stadiums, in their local auditoriums, if you will. So it's nice then that they go out there and test the... I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know if it's towns that they don't always run. But I'm assuming that if it's a smaller circuit, if it's a smaller show circuit, it's likely going to be towns that don't always get the TV shows. So, okay din yun. We all know from here that house shows, live events are always great. They don't have to have a TV show in Manila, in MOA Arena. If we just want to see them wrestle in front of us. So house shows are always good. Just don't run down the roster too much. That's the problem WWE had pre-pandemic, that they were running too many house shows that the wrestlers were getting burned out. So, I just hope that Tony Khan has learned those lessons.
Ikaw, Emile, would you watch an AEW house show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Kasi, it's a chance for me to see the wrestlers in person. And again, I haven't been to a live wrestling show. So
Ever.
Yeah. Nasa Naga siya eh.
Yeah, there's no wrestling in
there's no wrestling in Naga. The farthest we've gone was Quezon.
Yeah. So definitely, if there's a chance for me to go see an AEW house show, I would definitely go. Saka, I think house shows can be good then for AEW to test things out, like test matchups, rivalries, things that they wanna introduce to the TV audience, but they need to see first if it's gonna work with the house show audience, and also for other lower card, mid card wrestlers to get some reps, because wrestling on dark is good, pero dark matches are like what, 4-5 minutes usually.
Di naman.
Yung mga talagang lower card people, like they only get few minutes of reps on dark. So I feel like in house shows they're gonna get a lot more time. They're gonna be exposed a little bit more, so that siguro by the time that TK wants to use them on Dynamite or Rampage, they'll be ready and di na sila green or something.
Yeah, based on the press release, parang initiative to ni Double J, Jeff Jarrett, who our boss Ron Baitiong just got to meet during his recent trip to the US.
Tsaka yun naman talaga trabaho niya sa WWE.
Yes, he was
left.
director of live events. Yeah, so now he's director of business dev for AEW. Since we are talking about AEW, pag-usapan din natin si Samoa Joe, who is now the king of television once again. He's a 2-time TNT champion after he straight up murdered Darby Allin in that no-holds-barred match. To be fair, though, I have to give it to Darby because this crazy MFer entered in a hoodie that was like littered with thumbtacks. Even ako, I'm not the biggest Darby Allin fan, I was like, this guy. This guy.
What was it about the hoodie with thumbtacks?
Nakagago siya eh. Like, why would you do that?
Only Darby Allin can pull that off, honestly.
Yeah, medyo nakakagago lang siya as an idea. And the way that they just straight up tried to demolish each other's backs until the end, hinubaran nila yung ring basically, and then Joe did the muscle buster on the exposed wood. Good God.
Di ako fan ng exposed wood spots. Like, I it's so corny, I think.
Why?
I don't know. Like, it didn't hit for me the first time I saw it when Adam Cole.
No, sina Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah, Ciampa and Gargano. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just wasn't it for me. Like, parang it's weird that you have to uncover the ring to kill someone to finally put them away. You know, it's just weird to me.
Ikaw, Emile.
I love this match because honestly, yung series of matches sila, the 3 matches that they had, I love them all. And nag-escalate siya to this where literally nagpapatayan na sila sa ring. And yun lang, natalo si Darby Allin. I really wanted Darby to continue his reign because he's been having a string of really great matches recently on TV. But there were also reports that the reason why
he's injured, diba?
Yeah, he relinquishes. He's also gonna tape a TV show of his own.
Okay,
Like
ayun pala yan.
parang Jackass style though. So
on brand naman.
Yeah. So plus I think they were just waiting also for Wardlow to recover so that they can continue the Joe Wardlow feud. So
yeah, so that happened at the very end. Sinugod ni Wardlow si Joe, and Joe was able to just slip out of the ring and get away from a rampaging Wardlow.
And I can't help but to think yung bagong gupit ni Wardlow, he kind of looks like more now the Batista, yung ruthless aggression Batista. Because of like the short hair.
Yeah, I didn't like the man bun. That was weird.
Yeah. So now I think he looks more like a main eventer than before where it was yung
may ponytail. Ano tawag dun?
Yeah,
man bun.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Speaking of main event stuff, shout out to MJF and his dress shirt merch. Yung parang pinstripes na better than you. That is one of the better pieces of merch that I've seen in recent memory.
I would wear that to an office meeting. I think it would. Kasi maliit yung print
eh,
di ba? Mahirap basahin yung better than you.
Tapos kinamayan ka, di ba? Tapos gago to
Yeah, saka it's creative kasi usually wrestling merch are t-shirts.
Yeah, have you seen AEW merch? It's so edgelordy. It plays to the common wrestling fan desire of wearing black shirts.
Yeah.
So yung presyo daw niya is $50. So that's around 2,600 pesos. Would you buy a dress shirt ni MJF at that price?
It's a dress shirt, yeah. As long as the material was good.
So shout out sa nakaisip ng idea na yun. Napakagandang merch idea. Alright, so that's going to do it for the audio-only portion of this week's podcast. As always, follow the show at Wrestling Podcast or at Wrestling2X Pod on your usual socials, and follow the show on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts as well.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.